This is the Yo-Zuri 3DB twitch bait. One thing that I really like about this bait is the profile of it. You see it's got a deeper body than a lot of other baits on the market. It's got a great profile that really matches bait fish, whether that be shad, herring, even bluegill. This bait's gonna come in the 2 different sizes. It's gonna come in 13 different colors. You can see this color here. It's got the translucent with the hologram inside. We've got painted colors. We've got solid colors. It's gonna allow you to be able to match whatever you're trying to imitate. But what's special about this bait is it really resembles a dying bait fish, and the freshwater fish, especially schooling fish, go absolutely crazy over this thing.
Awesome bait, man. It's one that they've thrown in saltwater forever. Yo-Zuri, of course, has a version of the saltwater twitch bait, and they're bringing it to freshwater. I look at it between a 3DB pencil and the 3DB jerk bait. It's one of those baits where days when I've been catching them on top water and it's too windy for me to be able to work a top water, I can get this just subsurface right under the water and do the same deal. It's an awesome schooling bait. Just anytime bass want to feed up, this thing right here will catch them.
This was a saltwater bait they brought over to freshwater, and it's got a great profile. But one of the ways I'm going to use that is, you can see out here in front of me, there's a point, and this one's obviously got some markers on it. It's marking the stumps. But this would be what I'd look for when I'm throwing this. Anywhere those fish can sit and push bait, you know, I'm going to throw this thing and work it, you know, very similarly to like you would a soft jerk bait or even a hard jerk bait. It's going to be a slow sink, so you can count it down to the depth that you want it. But with that profile being, you know, super realistic, and it's something that they haven't seen in fresh water, it allows me to show them something a little bit different. And man, they really go crazy over this thing when they're up actively pushing bait, or they're sitting somewhere waiting to feed like they are up here on these stumps.
The 3DB twitch bait is a great bait for schooling fish. The way I like to fish it, it's a kind of unique way. When they're schooling, I like to throw it out and give it a quick burn and a pause for a few seconds and then burn it again. And what those fish schooling will think is they wounded a bait fish, and it flees away and then pauses. And it's a great bait because it casts so far, it's real aerodynamic. It can also be fished with, you know, your general twitches and stuff, but the burning method is real effective for schooling fish.
One of my favorite ways to fish this bait, for one, is over submerged grass, man. It's a killer for that, where say the grass is 2 foot under the water and a jerk bait gets down too deep and digs into the grass. I can keep this up right above the grass and get a lot of bites like that. I love throwing it over the laydowns, down the sides of docks. It's a very versatile bait. It's one of those where, you know, I can kind of decide on how deep I want it to sink and, you know, where I want to work it at.
You know, one place I think this bait will work really well too is on herring lakes over top of brush piles. Think about how many herring lakes there are around the country and how many times they've seen swim baits, soft jerk baits, hard jerk baits, anything like that, top water. This is going to give you another option to be able to throw it out there, work it over top of those brush piles, show those spots something they've never seen before. I think they're gonna get a good reaction to it. They're gonna come up off that brush pile and just inhale this thing.
This thing suspends really great, so you can just let it pause, kind of like a jerkbait. But then there's so many different things you can do with it. With it being this flat-sided bait like this, I mean, you can burn it, you can twitch it kind of similar to a jerkbait, give it that little side-to-side action. Has a really good body roll, real good shimmy. Like I said, it suspends really well. So I'll fish around these bridge pilings, things like that, just like you would a normal jerk bait, get those suspended fish.
Me, I'm probably gonna throw this thing most of the time on like a 12 or a 14-pound line, a longer rod so I can make long casts, 7.5 foot rod, probably something like a medium or a medium heavy, fast reel, you know, at least a 7 gear ratio reel. That way when that fish gets it way out there, I can lean into them, and I have the speed. If they come running at the boat or anything like that, I have the speed to be able to keep up with them. But this is just going to be a great alternative to be able to show those fish a little bit something different when everybody's out throwing a soft jerk bait or even a jerk bait. Look for them. They're coming out soon. You're going to want to get your hands on some of these, I promise.